The life of a homeless cat is not easy. Every day she stays alive is a blessing. This also applied to Dongsuk, a Korean street cat. But this cat was a mystery. A volunteer offered her free food every day, but she turned it down again and again. When they found out why Dongsuk only accepted food that was in a bag, an even greater mystery was unraveled. A Korean woman with a very big heart had taken on an enormous task. She made sure that all the wild cats in her area were fed. The woman volunteered at a local shelter, which gave her access to food, and she decided to put it to good use. The woman gave the food in trays to every homeless cat she encountered for 5 years. Most cats accepted the food gratefully and with great pleasure. However, there was one cat that stood out from the crowd for some inexplicable reason. The cat, named Dongsuk, used to join the other homeless cats in the neighborhood every day. However, she never took any food herself. Dongsuk turned away and looked for a way to survive. Although she never took food from the woman, she showed up every day. The free food was somehow enticing anyway. Why did Dongsuk never accept food? Didn't she like it? The volunteer began to suspect that there must be another reason. Perhaps this cat wanted to be offered the food in a different way. Why else wouldn't a cat take free food from a bowl? Cats are not the easiest when it comes to food, as they can be quite picky. So the first thing the volunteer did when Dongsuk wouldn't eat was offer her other food. Some cats even refuse good food if it's not what they want. To test that, the woman tried different types of dry food at Dongsuk. Unfortunately, none of it worked, and the cat didn't want to ingest any brand or taste. Wet food from it can also remain in the bowl, so the woman had to come up with something else. The volunteer was desperate to know why Dongsuk wouldn't eat, so she started to think outside the box. Because if the cat didn't want to eat at all, she wouldn't come with the other cats every day. The woman had to find out and wanted to prevent Dongsuk from starving. One day the woman put the food for Dongsuk in a bag. Perhaps the cat was just a shy eater. And what was her surprise? It worked. The cat took the bag of food and quickly ran away. The volunteer had a lot of questions. Where would she find her answer? Dongsuk finally took food. The woman was very happy about that. Every day she prepared a special bag of cat food for the cat. She came by every day neatly, took the bag and ran away. This strange behavior spiked her curiosity. The woman was curious as to where Dongsuk was going with her bags. The fact that the cat only accepted food in a bag was already strange. Now, she also wanted to know why. The woman didn't understand. Why does Dongsuk only want to take food from a bag? A bowl is much easier for her, isn't it? There were so many questions she wanted answers to. The volunteer was convinced there must be an answer. She had discussed it with her friends, and they encouraged her to indulge her curiosity. No sooner said than done. The woman made a plan to unravel the riddle. However, she never expected the truth to be so heartwarming. Cats sometimes exhibit strange behavior, as Dongsuk proved once again. It worried the volunteer. She wanted to know where the food was going. Where did the cat take the bag of food? She thought the cat might prefer to eat alone, although that would be strange too. Perhaps Dongsuk didn't trust people and had gathered just enough courage to get food from the woman every day. But perhaps there was also a completely different, much more important reason behind this behavior. The volunteer devised a plan to find out the truth. Time for action. One day, the volunteer, along with some friends, decided to follow the cat and solve the mystery. It wouldn't be easy. They had to keep their distance to prevent Dongsuk from noticing them and running away. It had taken a very long time to gain the cat's trust. She was not allowed to run now. The woman did everything she could not to damage the trust. How else would they know if Dongsuk was still alive and eating anything? Dongsuk took the team on an adventure. They kept their distance and followed the cat with her bag of food. The further Dongsuk took them, the more days they became. There was a reason this homeless cat made this trip every day, and they almost figured out why. Finally, they came to the entrance of an abandoned building. It looked like a scene from a horror movie. Fortunately, there were no scary things in this building. What did happen in this building? The cat led the team into the building. There she put the bag of food down. then began to walk back and forth. The way she was pacing nervously, the team knew she was uncomfortable. Did Dongsuk realize she was being followed, and was that why she didn't want to eat? The team thought she was showing them this to tell them to leave. Or was there another reason she still wouldn't eat? While everyone was waiting for what was to come, Dongsuk started to meow. That's when the team realized they were waiting for something. Seconds later, they found out. Out of nowhere, a little red kitten appeared and approached Dongsuk, who set the bag of food down. It turned out Dongsuk was Mother. She was not only taking care of herself, but also her young kitten. Finally, many puzzle pieces fell into place. The cat carried food in a bag to make sure her baby would get something to eat too. What a twist! The volunteer and her friends watched as the mother acted lovingly. After the cat put the bag of food down, she stepped aside so her daughter could eat first. The little one bit into the bag and ate until her belly was full. When the kitten was satisfied, Dongsuk also enjoyed a meal himself. The team was moved to tears as they watched this heroic story unfold before their very eyes. But the story doesn't end yet. Once the teen witnessed everything Dongsuk did to feed her kitten, they were determined to do something. They inquired in the neighborhood if anyone knew Dongsuk, or if someone might be looking for her. That turned out not to be the case, so it really was a homeless cat, and she had been for a very long time. However, it was no stranger to the neighborhood. Some people knew Dongsuk and told a heartbreaking story. During their search in the area, the team spoke to several people. As a result, they learned that Dongsuk had experienced a great tragedy in the past. Someone they spoke to reported that the mother cat had originally given birth to 5 healthy kittens. What bad luck for Dongsuk. Life was not fair to her. She fought to keep her litter alive, but had lost 4 kittens. With one little one left, she was determined to keep her alive and watch her grow into an adult cat. All she needed was a happy ending. Could the team take care of that? The team had to find a way to save Dongsuk and her kitten. They also knew that this required a strong bond of trust with the mother cat. To accomplish this, they returned to the location to which the cat previously led them. There they gave her a blanket. This was the first step in building a bond of trust between cat and human. They wanted to show that they were not the enemy. However, Dongsuk and her daughter were not going to trust the team in one day. The blanket the team donated to the cats was a good first step. After that, they returned to the building every day to give the cats a chance to feel comfortable around people. If we are to believe the team, Dongsuk got used to it pretty quickly. However, her daughter was less eager to embrace the rescuers. They'd never had a chance to bond with people, so this behavior wasn't all that crazy. Dongsuk had used them as a food supplier, but her daughter didn't know that. She ate it alone. The team of volunteers used to be patient. If the cats were fed every day, Dongsuk's daughter would want to get to know them naturally. They trusted in that. The cats were fed and wanted to make sure they were safe. The wait paid off, as in the end the little kitten felt completely at ease with the people. She still wasn't fond of them, but seemed to understand they didn't want to hurt her. The trust of both cats allowed the volunteers to take the next step, moving the 2 cats to a new home. It was time to start the rescue operation. This is one of the reasons the team was willing to wait so long to gain their trust. For this, they needed all kinds of tools and nets. They were still wild cats. That takes a little more effort, because you can't just pick them up and transport them. Although the volunteers would have loved to do that. Safety comes first. Such a net would otherwise have ensured that the cats had immediately fled. Before Dongsuk and the kitten could be adopted, they were taken to a shelter. There they got their own mini house. This was of course much more luxurious than what they were used to, but that was also possible quickly. And there was more good news. The 2 even started eating and drinking from a bowl. Life had already improved enormously for these street cats in recent times. All that remained was to find a good home for the animals. It should be clear that it was a criterion to keep the 2 cats together. The story of Dongsuk and her daughter is a beautiful and inspiring rescue story. The effort the mother cat has put in to keep her kitten and herself alive is very moving, especially when you consider what tragedy Dongsuk has already experienced. A wonderful story of motherly love and the will to do good. The volunteer and her team went far beyond their duty to save the day. They saw it as a life purpose. What started with innocent food ended in a rescue of 2 cats in need. Beautiful. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family.